This is your Transformers Listen and Play book. Included with this book are 2 sheets for Colorforms, one on the front page and one on the back. As you listen to this story, you can place the Colorforms on the scenes printed in this book. Every time you hear this sound, it means it's time to turn to the next page. When you're finished listening to the story, you can turn the tape over and record your own story. All right now, let's begin.
One day, Jazz was cruising the Arizona desert for signs of a rumored new Decepticon base. The air was clear, although scorchingly hot with the temperature already 106 in mid-morning. Jazz, however, was content. Since he was on a solo mission, he could, for once, blast music over his sound system without getting complaints from his fellow Autobots.
We interrupt your regular radio program for this special news bulletin. Repeat, this is a special news bulletin. Government officials today confirm that airline passenger planes have mysteriously disappeared from major airports across the nation. These planes, each carrying several hundred passengers, were last seen at roughly 1,900 feet above the airports. At this point, according to one official, the planes seem to vanish and cannot be detected by radar. Experts have concluded that the technology necessary to make these planes disappear is far too advanced for ordinary terrorists. Repeat, this has been a special news bulletin. We return to your regular radio show.
Just as the announcement finished, Jazz detected a human lying at the edge of the road. He screeched to a halt.
Can I give you a ride? Excuse me, perhaps you'd be more comfortable in here.
But the man only moaned. Jazz searched his memory banks under recreation of carbon forms and found nothing on lying by roads. So he picked the man up and gently placed him in the passenger seat.
Perhaps our medic Ratchet could check this human circuits.
In a daze, the moaning man heard Jazz's voice, but saw no one in the car.
Wait a minute! Where are you?
I'm right here.
Let me out of here! A talking car? You're with them, aren't you? First the plane spoke to me, then that horrible insect bit me, and now a car is talking. The world's gone crazy! Let me out of here!
With that, the man fainted.
These carbon forms could use some design improvement. He's out cold. Insects? Talking planes? Could that be the Insecticons and Decepticons? Well, there's more here than meets the eye. I better get back to base.
It wasn't long before Jazz reached the Autobot command base. Transformed into his robot self, he quickly told the other Autobots about the missing planes and his short conversation with the fainted man.
I don't know, Chief, but I have a hunch that this human met up with our mortal enemy, the Decepticons, and that they are somehow behind this missing plane business.
For once, Jazz could be right. This carbon form is wearing an airline mechanic's jumpsuit. I'll bet 20,000 bolts that this human got in the Decepticon's way.
You've done well, Jazz. Ratchet, come fix this human. Any victim of the Decepticons is a friend of ours. We must help him. And in turn, perhaps he can help us get to the bottom of this plane mystery.
I'm a medic, not a specialist on carbon forms. I can't weld them back together. I want to know what's wrong with it.
Maybe out of fuel, just like we're going to be if Jazz keeps going out on these joyrides of his.
Good thinking. This carbon form is probably dehydrated. After all, who knows how long he's been lying in the desert. Give him some water.
Ratchet poured water into the fainted man's mouth. Though still woozy, the man opened his eyes.
My gosh! I must have died. Is this heaven? All that time, I thought heaven had cute little angels flying around. But no, just my luck. It's chock full of big metallic clunkers.
Pardon me, but we're no clunkers. And you're not in the place you call heaven. You're in our base. But once you've answered a few questions, we can find heaven's geographic coordinates and have you brought there if you wish.
That's okay. I'd rather get there myself. But who are you? And what am I doing here? I thought we were going to be asking the questions.
We are the Autobots. 4 billion years ago, by human counting, our home planet Cybertron was racked by war between us and our enemies, the Decepticons. I, Optimus Prime, the commander, led a space mission that was ambushed by the Decepticons. We all crashed into a volcano on your planet. Somehow, the volcano's recent eruption reactivated the ship and everyone on it, including the Decepticons. We were all reprogrammed to be able to transform into what the ship's mind perceived as the dominant life form here. Machines. Watch.
Optimus Prime signaled to Jazz, and as the man's eyes bulged, Jazz transformed into a Porsche.
Isn't that the car in the desert that picked me up?
Affirmative, Pink Thing.
But why was I there anyway? And my name is Steve Gymo, not Pink Thing.
That was our question, Steve.
I can't remember. While I was checking over one plane, this other jet rolled up, with no one in the cockpit, and ordered me not to move. Then there was this shrill noise, and an insect screeched in my ear. You will remember nothing. 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 This is Bombshell, and you will remember only my sting. The next thing I knew, I was in the desert. Sorry, I guess that doesn't help very much.
No, Steve, that does help. Now we know that the Decepticons and Insecticons are behind these mysterious disappearances of the humans' planes.
But why? How can they gain from it? Why would they want those humans? Humans can't be converted into fuel.
That's where you're wrong, Jazz. I'll bet 5 turbo foxes that the Decepticons are holding those innocent humans as hostages. Once they kidnap enough carbon forms, they'll probably demand that the government give them fuel in exchange for citizens.
They must and will be stopped.
The only big airport in this state is Phoenix International. And that's one of the few that hasn't had any disappearances.
It's probably one of their next targets. But this time, they'll have to answer to the Autobots.
Yeah, and to me, too.
Meanwhile, at the Decepticon base, the evil leader Megatron was more than pleased with his success. His plans were working out just as the Autobots had guessed.
It's so beautifully simple. We now know humans plays without even a fight.
900 Lord, you are to be congratulated on your brilliancy. But we must conserve fuel, or we shall lack the vital energy to complete your scheme. Let me prove my worth. Allow me to lead this next mission. I shall need only sky-warping Bombshell. The Autobots haven't a clue as to what's going on.
It's true, Megatron. The Autobots are slipping right through your clever plan. They don't suspect anything. They're still on that wild goose chase to find our new base.
Our hostages are only a few miles from today's target. This should be the easiest of all missions. It's not a bad idea, Starscream. You shall have your way, but do not fail, or I personally shall see to your destruction.
I know not the meaning of the word fail, honored Lord.
Ready yourself, Starscream. Go put on the passenger plane disguise. Soundwave, once Starscream has successfully completed his mission, you will transmit a message to the President of the United States. It won't be long before we have all the fuel we want.
Inside the Decepticon lab, Frenzy encased Starscream's sleek fighter jet body in the special metal shell of a passenger plane. At Starscream's insistence, Frenzy took a welding gun and welded together the edges of the shell.
Make sure it's tight, Frenzy. Apply more heat. Even more than that, I don't want this thing to slip 1 nanometer.
Starscream, you could fool your creator into thinking you were one of those flimsy human planes.
A half hour later, when Starscream, Skywarp, and Bombshell flew above Phoenix International Airport, it looked no different from all the other human airports. Sure of success, Starscream was considering how this mission would boost his already powerful status within the Decepticon ranks.
One day, my friends, I shall be your great leader. And when that time comes, you shall never thirst for fuel. You will always have more than you need.
But unbeknownst to Starscream, the Autobots had tracked down the abandoned warehouse where the Decepticon Rumble was holding the hostages. At the very moment that Starscream was speaking, Rumble was in the thick of an Autobot assault. Trailbreaker had jammed the communication waves, and Rumble was unable to signal for help. As the Autobots attacked Rumble, Steve led the humans to safety. Not knowing any of this, Starscream proceeded with his mission. As Starscream rolled into the spot that should have been taken by the real passenger plane, Bombshell patrolled the mechanics area. But this time, unlike before, there were no humans anywhere. In fact, the entire airport was completely empty. Bombshell swiftly returned to Starscream.
Should I inform Megatron? There isn't even anyone here for me to interrogate.
No, we'll go to the warehouse. It's probably a simple miscalculation.
So Starscream, Bombshell, and Skywarp flew off for the warehouse. Ignorant of Earth culture, none of the 3 Decepticons realized that a major airport is normally never completely empty. Meanwhile, at the warehouse, Hound was tracking their approach. Rumble lay on his back. A well-aimed shot had put a hole in his fuel tank, and he was unable to move.
10 seconds and the party begins.
But suddenly, Starscream realized that he and his friends were flying into a trap.
The Autobots are ahead! Fire! Skywarp, you thundering tinhead! Where are your monitors? Change course! Change course!
However, it was too late. The battle had begun.
Starscream, you will be the first Decepticon that I shoot down today.
Not so fast, brother. I've got my eye on that slime.
With his incredible speed, Starscream was able to dodge the Autobot shots. Skywarp and Bombshell transformed into their robot selves for the battle. But Starscream, shot into the special metal shell, found himself unable to transform.
The seal won't break! I'm stuck in here! I can't even fire my laser beams! I cannot transform!
I like your new outfit, Starscream. How about this as the finishing touch?
We can survive too much more! How could this happen? Megatron's plans have never failed before! Would this be part of his scheme? Is he afraid that I've become too powerful? Did he plan this trap for me?
Help, Starscream! I've been hit!
Bombshell, grab my wing! Retreat, Skywarp, retreat!
With Bombshell clinging onto Starscream's wing, after a long chase, the 3 Decepticons lost their Autobot pursuers. Back at the Autobot base, Optimus Prime was pleased that all the humans had escaped unharmed.
Good work, comrades. The humans are free, and Megatron's evil scheme is foiled. And we couldn't have done it without you, Steve. You see, even the littlest fighter among us can combat the forces of evil. We thank you, Steve, and I'm sure your people will thank you.
Aw, shucks, Chief. If you big boys ever need a hand, I'm your man. But you know, I almost felt sorry for that guy Starscream.
Imagine being unable to transform. No worse thing could ever happen to a member of our race.
That Starscream, he wasn't nothing but a lean, mean flying machine with no beam.
Someone must have goofed and used too hot a welding gun on that metal disguise. That's how Starscream got trapped inside.
It just goes to show.
Or what goes to show?
You are what you heat.
Oh.